If you're positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up out my face. If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up out my face. If you are positive, you better bless this space. If you are negative, you better get up out our faces. I messed that up.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Witches and Weebs, where otaku and spirituality come together to create a harmonious community of witches and weebs. I am Mizari.
And I am Space.
And we have a super awesome special episode for y'all today because we were doing a lot of research about it so we could talk about it. And hooray, we are going to be...
Yes, lots of research. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say it's been lots. We will be talking about the Hermetic Qabalah Tree of Life, aka the Hermetic Tree of Life, and how it corresponds in relation to tarot. So that way you can bring your tarot readings up to the next level, and then you have some meanings behind the words that are correspondent with the paths and the nodes of the Hermetic Tree of Life. And that way, I said this earlier, you can definitely upgrade your dude sitting on a throne syndrome when you get those cards in your readings. Absolutely. Like, it really gets in depth and answers a lot of questions. Why, what means what. It's very interesting, too.
Yes.
Because it tells you that, I love a lot of people like to claim ignorance is bliss. And no, ignorance is in fact not bliss. You literally know nothing. About life in general.
So in this episode, like I said, we're going to explain how to read tarot in relationship with the Hermetic Qabalah Tree of Life. We're not going to get too in-depth about the Tree of Life, just a brief overview of how we can use some of the information to help understand and read our tarot better. And there are a lot of educational Hermetic Qabalah videos that can be found online. Not many of them get too in-depth about how it works with tarot, so that's what we're here for. So we'll help you understand the nodes, the paths, and the four worlds of the Hermetic Tree of Life so we can give better meaning to the cards we pull. But if y'all are interested in us talking about the actual Hermetic Qabalah and the Hermetic Tree of Life, we will be more than willing to do our research so we can put the video out because you like us and you like when we talk about things and you learn better when we talk about things. So if anyone is interested in that, just let us know and we will definitely be doing our deep dive so we can get that episode out.
Absolutely. I will talk here about the origins of the Hermetic Qabalah itself so you guys know where it came from. But other than this, we'll be talking mainly about how tarot affects the Tree of Life itself. The Hermetic Qabalah has its origins in the Jewish mystical tradition of Qabalah, which starts with a K, and has two B's instead of one, which dates back to medieval times in Spain and France. Qabalah is a form of Jewish mysticism that explores the nature of God, the universe, and the human soul. Kabbalists use a system of correspondence and symbols to understand the divine and the cosmos. The word Qabalah is the Hebrew word for received knowledge. Hermetic Qabalah emerged in the 19th to early 20th centuries as a synthesis of Qabalah and Hermeticism, a system of thought and practice that emphasizes the spiritual and magical aspects of the Western tradition. Hermeticism has been influenced by ancient Egypt and Greek philosophy and mythology, as well as the writings of Hermes.
Just his name, Hermes.
You know who he is. A legendary figure associated with esoteric knowledge and wisdom. The Hermetic Qabalah incorporated these diverse elements into a unique system of spiritual and mystical exploration.
Yeah, so, Again, Hermetic Qabalah is its completely own, practice.
Yes. It is influenced by the original Jewish Qabalah, but otherwise it's its own practice, spelled differently with a Q and one B.
Okay, basically. I was silly when I was like, hey, I want to talk about the Hermetic Qabalah, and I was spelling it with the K and the double B, and Space was like, do you mean Qabalah? And I'm like, yes, I do mean Qabalah. Not Qabalah, because we are not Jewish, therefore we don't really do much Jewish practices. But Hermetic Qabalah, from what I've heard, is not necessarily considered the westernized version of Jewish Qabalah, but it's completely own.
No, yeah, it's just influenced.
Jewish Qabalah.
Yeah, it's its own complete thing, and it's not like just westernized. It's Qabalah. Yeah. I know I'm gonna say it like that because so you guys can tell which one we're talking about. That's all.
Yeah, there's Qabalah and then Qabalah.
Yeah,
that's not how they're pronounced, but this is how we differentiate Qabalah and Qabalah.
Because they're basically pronounced very similar, and it's hard for me to differentiate.
Yeah, so one is Hermetic and one is Jewish.
Yes. So we're going to just call it the Hermetic?
Hermetic.
I think. Hermetic.
Yeah, Hermes,
basically. You want to take the next part, Mia?
Yeah, okay. So in Hermetic Qabalah, there's 10 Sephiroth nodes and 22 paths that correspond with the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the 22 major arcana in tarot. Each node can be used as a numerical meaning for the cards of each suit, which is also why tarot has its own numerology, which is very, very cool. And that's also something that we're going to get into. And the paths, because each path represents the journeys between the various states of consciousness and existence. In the tree are 2 pillars that are also shown.
I forgot I planned to take notes.
The High Priestess card. So these 2 pillars right here are also on the Hermetic Qabalah Tree of Life. The black pillar is Boaz, I believe. This pillar represents feminine form, and this pillar represents the masculine force. That's what they're for. That is how we show the balance between one and the other, and it also tells us that balance is needed to maintain the structure within ourselves, because too much of one thing isn't good, too much of the other thing isn't good, and ignorance is not bliss. So
yeah, it's basically telling you that so long as you are ignorant, you are nothing, basically. It's pretty harsh.
Yeah, and then they're also separated into 4 worlds that correspond with the 4 elements, which also is related to the court cards of tarot, because each Sephiroth deals with each of the numerical minor arcana, and each suit deals with, you know, the meaning of the elements. So the first node on the Hermetic Tree of Life is Kether, which is the crown. Basically, it's the manifestation that is coming from nothing. It's the movement, so we have learned. I do have my cards out here. So like with the aces, here, let me pull up my aces. And I'm going to talk more about this later, but each of these suits are correspondent with the elements and the world. So fire would be technically movement, which is I don't remember how to pronounce this. Atziluth, which is the movement. We've got Bria, which is water, relationship and creation. We've got air, which is the mind and formation, and then we've got earth, which is the embodiment and the manifestation. And the best way really to kind of understand how this works is like, okay, the Ace of Wands is a base idea, like, hey, what's up?
Okay, so I was gonna say, like, wands, like in magic, how fast is magic? Fire, speed, there you go. Like in anime magic, if you have a wand, you're firing off spells like that.
This is the beginning. This is the crown. This is like the, not necessarily physical manifestation, but the idea of the manifestation. This is the creation. This is what comes from this manifestation. Your ideas are overflowing out onto the material plane. You've got...
And if you think about water being the element of creation, what needs to happen for creation to happen, for life to begin, that's a very easy way to remember what the cards are.
Yep, it's the movement. It's the relationship of, oh, this idea, I need to put this idea into something. And then you've got air, which is the mind formation, the formation in your mind of the idea. Okay, so we have an idea. We have something. We've made something from nothing. And now we are trying to pour it out. Oh God, I can't see my cards. We're trying to pour it out. We're trying to pour this idea out into our mind. How can we conceptualize this? How can we bring this idea to life? And then you've got the physical manifestation of that idea. So, like I said, it corresponds with each of the worlds and each of the elements, and it kind of is that way with all of the tarot and all of the Sephiroth because they're all like representative of something. We were watching this online class from a guy named Joe Mantellione. I'm probably butchering his name, but he basically
it's a very Italian last name.
But go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't know what you were gonna say, to be honest.
He was basically saying like the idea of movement within the Hermetic Tree of Life. So he goes into twos because again, Kether is the crown. What is the crown? The crown is the what is the word? I am struggling with words right now.
Crown. Top of your head?
The crown is basically like the start of everything. This is where we want to be. We want to be like all seeing, all knowing. We want to be omnipotent. So the crown is omnipotence. All of these aces are the start of whatever is to come within the next numerical tarot. He goes on to say that with twos, 2 is Chokmah, which is wisdom. What is wisdom? Insight that you gain from experiences. So he's like, the example that he showed was the 2 of wands is basically, this guy is like wondering, okay, what am I gonna conquer? He's looking over here, he's wondering what he's gonna conquer. He is building that relationship with himself because he has to understand, what am I going to conquer? I didn't necessarily understand that idea, but once you get to the rest of the numbers, which I'm not really gonna go too in depth into, but once you get to the rest of the numbers, it kind of starts making sense why he put those meanings behind those cards.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you get to 3 starts the understanding of things. And I want to do them more within like 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's like, okay, I understand that these are the worlds that I have to conquer. I understand that I can't do it alone. I understand that I need someone to help me. I understand that if it doesn't go my way, then I can start to feel things. In your mind, because again, swords is air, swords is the mind, swords is formation. You start feeling that emotion. You can feel emotion physically, but most of your emotion comes from where? Your mind. You start feeling those things. And then, boom, this is the embodiment, the physical embodiment of that partnership. This is 3. This is this is all the wisdom, or the understanding that comes from the wisdom. I understand that, I have feelings. I understand that this is what I need to conquer. I understand that I cannot do it alone. And I understand that, now that we're here, we have to do it together. Which I really like that the suits and the base, I'm going to just call it the numerology. The suits and the numerology all correspond with each other because it kind of tells a story. And I remember Space showed me this video about telling tarot through a movie, like a window of a movie, or telling a story. And that's where the whole dude sitting on the throne syndrome came from, which is pretty,
I believe I did link you guys in the description. Oh, it hasn't, I don't think it's come out yet, so never mind, but I will link you guys the video that she is talking about. It's a very beginner friendly way of doing tarot if you have never done any research into it. We talked about it in our Tarot 101 video. Yep.
So, into 4, I didn't even talk about 3. 3 is the understanding of what your journey is to come. And we're going to talk more about the Sephiroth and the nodes and how they correspond with each other with the paths of the major arcana. So 4 is Chesed. 4 is the mercy of the Hermetic Tree of Life. So mercy, happiness, you're at mercy with it. You are understanding like, hey, not everything is for me. And you know that, okay, well, I'm at whatever mercy because I now know that I can't just take everything to me. And I know that I can't be unhappy with everything I have, but I also know moderation. I understand how moderation works.
You're at the mercy of things.
Exactly. This is just, meditation in your mind. You understand, okay.
Take mercy on yourself.
Yeah. So let me pull up. I understand my emotions. I understand how strong my feelings are. And I now
take mercy.
Yeah, you're taking mercy on yourself.
Take mercy on yourself for rest. You have earned it.
Don't be at the mercy of your emotions. Understand how to regulate them. Regulation, mercy. You're at the mercy of, either financial things, or pentacles can also represent the self, because it focuses, but it also is related to grounding and I am, and the physical embodiment of who you are. So now you understand, okay, these are all part of me. I am at my own mercy, which correct. I think is very, very cool. And then you've got Geburah, which is severity. And if you look at all of the 5 cards in tarot, you kind of see that they are all looking like very sad cards. Like
there's one with conflict, there's one sadness.
Yep, they're all something severe.
Looking to the past.
Like this is a severe battle of what? Creation or movement. This is just severity of something big. This is the severity of loss. You've experienced the emotions. Here are the cups. Relationships, the severity of losing relationships or just losing something in general. The severity of a fight. You're victorious, but now you have to wonder what came out of that. I did all this fighting. Am I happy that I won? Am I sad that I won? Was the victory worth it? And then very obviously the severity of not knowing yourself. Struggle. The struggle of even financials or just not knowing yourself. Because when you kind of have not an idea of who you are, you feel like this. You kind of feel like you're wandering all over the place, no direction, struggling, and you feel kind of hopeless. And it is sad, but when you start to understand more in depth about how this works, then you're kind of like, okay, I'm going
to do a reading based on, because I have a reading here that I did for us earlier, and I'm going to write out what I think this means based on the Hermetic Qabalah right now.
Yeah.
So,
you've got 6. Which is Tipharet, which is beauty. And now in these 6 cards, you can see the beauty. You can see the beauty of, victory. You can see the beauty of your creation. You can see all of the seeds that you sowed so slowly forming. I fucking forgot the word that I was going to use, but you've got, beauty in this. You got beauty and victory. You have people praising you, a celebration. You're riding in on your high horse because now you're like, oh yeah, I had this idea. I went to conquer these lands. I found people to help me conquer these lands. I struggled a little bit because I had to fight for these lands, but now that I've obtained these lands, I'm happy about it. And that's kind of how you can tell a story from ace to king, just looking at how all of these work. You've got the 6 of Cups here. This is the beauty of giving back. This is the beauty of sharing your ideas. This is the beauty of having everything overflow and the abundance. And there's so much that you can start giving to other people, because giving back is beautiful, personally.
Same. I absolutely love giving back to people. My favorite thing to do.
You've got you had this, you finally manifested the thought of this idea. You fought for this idea. Maybe this idea made you feel like, okay, yeah, I'm human. Is this idea worth it? I don't know. I'm gonna keep fighting for it. You fought for your idea, and now look, you're traveling. You conquered these lands, you fought for what you believed in, and now you're traveling to do more things with what you've acquired. And again, this is just, the beauty of giving back. Notice how both the cups and the pentacles are both giving back. You've got, this feels good. I understand that this feels good. This is a relationship that I'm building. And now this is the physical embodiment. Even if it's not giving back to other people, you are still giving yourself what you feel like you deserve.
And I wanted to say about the 7 is that notice, even though you have your baggage in the boat with you, you're still on the path.
Oh, this is 6.
You're still 6, sorry. The beauty is moving on with that baggage.
Yep.
So,
which is, again, very beautiful. Isn't it so poetic? And then you've got your 7. 7 is Netzach. 7 is victory. 7 is everything that you fought for to obtain. Now, You have you fought tooth and nail. This is your victory. You are at the top. People are still gonna try to drag you down, but at the end of the day, you know that you're at the top.
You have high ground.
And you gotta fight them off. You literally have the high ground, Anakin. You have the high ground. This is your victory. You are on your high horse. You are on your pillar.
You have the bridge over everybody in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, basically. You've got you won. You've got your spoils. This is your victory. Now you can choose your
for choice.
Exactly. You can choose your destiny. You can choose your prize, or you can choose what you want to pick up now that you finally finished your battle and are getting to see all of the seeds that you sowed grow. You've won. You got everybody's swords. You're like, ha, I beat you. This is my token. This is my, what do they call the, like when you cut someone's head off and you have it as like a trophy, I guess? These are your trophies. You fought, and this is proof of your battle. You got everyone's swords because they just simply weren't enough to best you. And then these are, again, the seeds that you've sown. This is all of your victory now going to come to fruition because you did what you had to do. And now
you planted your garden, and here it's come.
Exactly. And these can also represent you as a person, because again, Pentacles doesn't necessarily only deal with financial things. It deals with the self. It deals with the physical embodiment of who you are. So now that you have an idea, these are all things that can just be part of who you are as a person. Like, okay, well, I did this, so this will help this part of me. I did such and such, so this will help these parts of me, and so on and so forth. Then you've got your H, which is 8. Jeez, 8, which is Hod, and it's the Splendor. Now, they don't necessarily correspond with how the cards necessarily feel, but when you think of Splendor, what do you think of?
I think of like beautiful outdoors.
That's fair. So Splendor, there's a lot of different meanings for Splendor, but as you can see there, everything here is plentiful. You've got the wands that are hurling toward you. You've got all of these. I mean,
fair enough. My description is the beautiful big outdoors, so Splendor is plentiful of that.
These are all learning moderation, basically. It's like, okay, I have an abundance of these. I need to learn how to, take everything in with moderation, because again, too much of one thing is not good. Too much of the other thing is also not good. So you've got these wands whirling toward you. These can represent all of the ideas that you could possibly have. All of these ideas are flowing into you all at once, and you just don't know which one you want to pick. All of these ideas are coming at you, and you just don't know which one. There's so much, you're getting overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. Then you kind of just walk away.
You'd walk away from all of them.
You walk away. Like, I see that I've gotten all the splendors from these victories, but like, it's too much. I don't want all of this. So then you kind of just take the spoil, or you don't even take it. You walk away, and then you think, what do I actually want from these spoils? What kind of splendor do I want? And then you start working your way back up to it. You start putting in the hard work because you're like, okay, this is all too much. I don't know which one I want, but I know for a fact that I can figure out which one I do want, and I can work towards getting it. And this is why.
Here's the thing, I think of swords as like maybe picking through all of the bad ones to find the good one.
Right.
You do have to pick through all of those sharp edges that might not be the best ideas for you and figure out. You're picking blind. You don't know which one is a good idea.
Yeah.
But you still have plenty of choices.
Yeah. You're like slowly but surely navigating your mind into, maybe trying to do everything at once wasn't the best idea. Let me just kind of sit and feel all my emotions, feel kind of the swords next to me. You kind of start getting a sense of like, you start relying on your senses more, and you start relying on your intuition. You start relying on your gut feelings and all of that. So then you start to understand, okay, I did my work, but now I kind of just have to sit back and slowly but surely build up to what I actually really, really want in terms of, spoils, splendors, from your victory. 9 is Yesod. 9 is the foundation. And it kind of all makes sense. Like, you know, you've got all of these. This card has many different feelings to it, because it doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. You can look at his face and you can be like, okay, he looks sad, but someone else could be like, okay, well, he's probably feeling neutral.
Or he's just feeling tired because look at all the shit that he had to handle.
Yeah. But he has all of these things. He did the work to what he needed to do, and now he's happy about it. He's like, okay, these are mine. I'm protecting my ideas because my ideas make me happy. My ideas also kind of weigh in heavily on me, but at the end of the day, I know that, you know, my ideas are just the start of something to come. This is basically shedding an old mindset. You're like, okay, I can't think the way that I used to think before. A lot of people, this card is symbolic to like sleepless nights and headaches and all that. But sometimes I like to look at it, especially with the relation to the Hermetic Tree of Life, as, okay, I acknowledge
some of these ideas.
I acknowledge my feelings with these, and now I need to understand how to part with what I need to part with and keep what I need to keep, if that makes sense. So like now you're starting to build the foundation to you as a person. Like you're starting to acknowledge, okay, maybe too much is not a good thing. And then you've got 10, the 10th Sephiroth, which is Malkuth, which is also representative of what they call kingdom. And 10, Malkuth is the very last node on the Tree of Life. And Malkuth is also the node that is in Asaya, which is the manifestation and the embodiment of the very last world of the Tree of Life. And so, what is it? You're gathering all your things. You're happy with where you are. You finally shed all of those bad ideas, or not bad ideas, but all those bad habits, all those bad feelings. You've put them to rest. They're all gone now. And now you are just simply living lavishly. You understand. You've gone through basically the fruits of life. And now you understand, hey, everything wasn't for nothing. Everything was for something. So, you know, you've gathered all your things. You are finally at peace, necessarily. Like you're building that peace with yourself. And you're giving yourself your happy ending.
The happiest card in the fucking deck. I'm based on like everything that's going on in it.
You've gotten rid of all of those bad and negative and things that kind of felt like they were weighing you down.
They are dead and gone. I mean, the body is there, dead and gone.
Everything is fine. And then you've got everything that comes out of that. You see how there's a lot of everything in this card. You've got the self, you've got the finances, you've got the old wise person here, you've got the relationships, and you've got little pets too, which could either be like your spirit animals, your familiars, or just pets that you have in life, because, you know, you've got basically most of what you want. And if you want 2 pets, now you have 2 pets. And then I don't want to get too into the court cards, but basically the meaning behind the court cards is like when you have knights, there's some motion going, there's movement. This is going to help your dude sitting on the throne syndrome. There is something happening where it's either
something happening here
either
in this reading.
It could be movement of the mind, movement of the self, movement of the emotions, or movement of just like, hold on, where's the King of Wands? Or just straight up, you know, or not king, but these are all movement cards. And I pulled out my King and Queen because I wanted to talk more about the elements, but I guess I'll just talk about the singular element first.
We got time. We got time.
But Knights basically is just, Knights are all fire. Knights are the movement. So you've got the movement of the mind, which is the Knight of Swords. You've got movement of the physical manifestation, the embodiment, movement of self. You've got the Knight of Wands, which is just straight up movement. Like you are going, and fire is hot. Fire is intense. Fire is passionate. So a Knight of Wands would just be like, there is strong, something strong is coming. You're moving towards something like heavy. And then you've got Knight of Cups, which is movement of your emotion. It's like, okay, I'm starting to understand myself now. This is nice. Water is Queens, which is Bria. And I'm gonna grab my cards here. And it's basically the same thing for all of the court cards. You know, you've got the emotion with your mind. You know, you got, okay, I am acknowledging these. I understand this thing. And then whatever card comes after that, you can associate with whatever you think it might mean. The Queen of Wands is the relationship.
This is the one. My bad.
Relationship with the movement. Where are we going? What are we doing? You see how the Queen is looking out? She's trying to figure out, where are we going from here? And how would this make me feel if I went in this direction? You know, Queen of Cups, emotion. Basically, you could look at this cup like as a mirror of yourself. How do I feel? What do I feel? What can I do to help me feel like such and whatever? And then you got relationship with yourself. You are looking down at yourself. You're looking at who you are. You're reflecting. And then whatever comes afterwards is, maybe this is something that you can reflect on. Maybe this is something that you're already reflecting on. Maybe this is something that you can use and sit down and maybe talk to yourself about, see how it makes you feel, and see how you can go from there. And these are just like general overviews of the cards. They all have their own separate meaning, but if you were to try to merge them all into just one umbrella thing, that would probably be the best thing to do, depending on if that's how you want to do things. So King of Wands. Air is Yetzirah, the mind and the formation. And you can see like here, the kings in most of these are looking at something. They're kind of like pondering, or like, how can I bring this to life? What can I do? How can I bring this idea that is rapidly moving themselves at me to life? Whatever card you pull after is probably the solution. Here is, how can I reflect more? What else do I have to think about here? Because King is air, Swords is also air, so it's air within air. It's a lot of thinking. Let me just pull out a card. Like, what should I think about? Oh, okay. There's 3. I think I need to understand something better. What do I need to understand? Oh, 3 of Cups. Maybe I need to understand relationships better. Maybe I don't necessarily understand how relationships work, and that's something that I can sit and reflect on. Again, going back to the movie telling idea that Space had shown before, that is kind of how you can combat dude sitting on the throne syndrome. What's up?
Yeah, nothing. Oh, I was gonna say, it could also mean not just relationships in general, but your specific relationships in your life.
Mm-hmm.
You might lack an understanding somewhere in those, if that was to come up like that.
Yep. Then you got, the King of Cups. Again, thinking about relationships. I was showing the King of Swords, whatever. But then you got King of Cups. Relationships, again, because air is, the physical manifestation, the embodiment, and then the king is the mind and the formation. Maybe you are trying to think more about your relationship with yourself. Maybe you're just trying to think about relationships in general. Maybe you're also trying to think about, how can I create something? Because again, water is not just relationship, it's creation. What can I create? How can I create something? You're in the process of thinking about things that you can create. Whatever card you pull out is maybe something that you could create. Then you got the King of Pentacles, which is thinking about, the embodiment, the manifestation, thinking about money, partially, thinking about your physical being. And you see how it's like super lavish and super green and super flourishing. It's because I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about what I can give myself to make myself happier. What can I give
flourish.
to myself? Yes, exactly. That is the word I could not find. The word was flourish. But that's that. And then you've got the page cards. Pages normally in tarot are representative of somebody new coming into your life, which you could still have that meaning. But if you're more focused on yourself, then perhaps it's someone that could help you along your journey. Page of Wands. Page is always the embodiment, the material plane. Again, the manifestation, it's the earth. So when you've got earth and you've got wands, now you can start thinking, okay, what moves do I have to make? What moves would I have to do? Do I have to meet someone who can give me that motivation to move towards what I want in life? Can I meet someone that would help me move towards the idea of creation, to getting to where I need to be? You've got relationships. Okay, someone new. Again, I'm just going to be using the Page's umbrella meaning of meeting someone new, along with the Hermetic Qabalah. So then you build a relationship with this person. This person maybe can help you create new things. This person is helping you move towards what you're trying to get to. This person is helping you think more about where you need to be, or even help you thinking more about yourself. Whatever it is, this person that you might meet is always good or bad.
Flashbang.
Good or bad is going to help you understand something more about yourself as a person. And yeah, those are all the courts and all of the numerical tarot meanings. At least let me just say that this is my interpretation based off what I know about Hermetic Qabalah. There's not necessarily an end-all be-all meaning, but you can definitely take what you know about Hermetic Qabalah and apply it to the cards. But the one thing that is for certain is the meanings behind the Sephiroth. There, you can have your own interpretation of what you think the cards might mean, so long as you apply what you know about Hermetic Qabalah to your tarot. And there's no one-size-fits-all meaning. Again, tarot is something that you can interpret on your own, but if you do need a little kick in the butt of what you think it might be and you can't really understand or remember what every single card means in the textbook definitions, then you can definitely use Hermetic Qabalah. Like, okay, I know that Kether is the crown. Kether is the first. So Kether might mean something of my higher being. What can come from my higher self? What can come from here to down here?
The purity of this idea, that's what this means. This is complete, pure, either emotion, creation, pure relationship, or whatever. Yeah, like, I don't know. Oh.
It's the divine energy, the potential of what you can create from here down into the material plane.
And it flows all down. So remember, it has to go through all those other things to get out of you.
So yeah, it's not easy. It's basically like its own mini fool's journey within the minor arcana and the court cards. And that's why I love tarot. Because everything is connected. So those were the court cards and the number cards. And now we're going to get into the paths. So the paths are basically what is connecting one Sephiroth to the other Sephiroth. And this is kind of how you can start telling the story of your tarot cards. So the first path, or technically it would be path 11, because the first 10 Sephiroth are also considered paths. But the first path is from Kether to Chokmah. Again, Kether is the crown, the divine, the potential, and then wisdom is, experiencing things. So then you can start to understand, but you have to experience it first. I'm not gonna go too in depth, but so we're just gonna so from Chokmah, or from Kether to Chokmah, which is the crown to wisdom, it represents the divine energy pouring into potential, and it basically represents boundless energy or boundless potential and unbridled energy and the leap into existence. You are manifesting yourself and the embodiment of yourself into this person.
You are a baby.
You are a baby.
Brand new spanking baby.
The
Welcome
second
to the world.
Hi. The second path is Kether to Binah. Kether again is the crown, and Binah is understanding. So now that you understand how things work, you are able to exactly. You start to manifest. And you start to basically understand your wisdom. You're understanding your wisdom. Not necessarily taking all of it, because that's a different thing, but you can create now. You understand that with your wisdom, you can start to create. The third path is Kether to Tipharet. Tipharet is beauty. One again, Kether is the crown. And then you get the High Priestess. It's a mystical journey towards self-realization and enlightenment. And the High Priestess governs your intuition, the hidden mysteries of the universe, and the veil between the spiritual and physical realms. So you have the beauty of the divine. You understand the beauty of divine. So now you're like, okay, I know what I have to do. The fourth path is Chokmah to Binah, which is the Empress, which is also both understanding and the wisdom of what came from both the Kether, the Kether paths. So it unites the masculine and feminine principles of creation, and it represents fertility, creativity, and the nurturing of life. You understand in your whys, so now you can create new things. So from Chokmah to Tipharet, you've got your wisdom, and then you've got beauty. So now you're wise to the beauty. And this path represents the governance of creative energy with order and stability. And the Emperor provides structure and authority to the expansive energy of Chokmah. You've got the Hierophant, which is Chokmah to Chesed, which represents spiritual authority and tradition, aligning with the expansive and benevolent nature of Chesed through Chokmah's divine wisdom, because again, Chokmah is wisdom. Then the 16th path is the Hierophant, which is Chokmah wisdom to Chesed, which is mercy. The Hierophant represents spiritual authority and tradition, aligning with the expansive and benevolent nature of Chesed through Chokmah's divine wisdom. Then we've got the Lovers, which is Binah to Binah, understanding. Tipharet is beauty, and basically understanding the beauty. And then you get the Lovers. That's how you learn to love. You understand the beauty of things and you learn to love it. It represents the harmonization of opposites, leading to beauty and balance in Tipharet. It symbolizes union, choice, and the integration of duality.
I should have shuffled one of my decks, but I didn't know that she was going to do all of this. So I could have had a different example of cards.
Yeah,
Boo-boo.
It's okay. We've got the Chariot now, which is Binah, understanding, to Geburah, the Severity. And the path embodies discipline and control over creative and structural forces of Binah, and the Chariot's mastery over opposing forces mirror that energy. So when you understand Severity, you understand, hey, we gotta go. Then you've got Chesed to Geburah, which is understanding the mercy and severity, which leads to strength. And it balances, again, mercy and severity, symbolized by the gentle yet firm control of strength, blending love with restraint. From Chesed to Tipharet.
Because anybody who is strong, they know they are strong and they know how to be gentle.
Exactly. From mercy to beauty is the Hermit. It represents the journey of introspection and self-discovery, moving from divine mercy and generosity toward the harmonious beauty of Tipharet. The Hermit is known as the seeker of inner truth and guides the path by shedding light on deeper wisdom and personal growth, which makes sense. Then you've got the Wheel, which is mercy of Chesed, to Netzach, which is victory. When you've got mercy and victory, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. It embodies cycles, changes, and the influence of divine forces on the material existence. And this path connects the stability and expansiveness of Chesed, mercy, with the emotional drive and creativity of Netzach, which is victory, reflecting the ebb and flow of fortune and destiny, which, the wheel is the destiny. The wheel is the reflection of what is to come. And then you've got Justice. Justice is Geburah, Severity to beauty, Tipharet. And justice represents fairness, balance, and the consequences of actions. This path harmonizes the disciplined strength of Geburah with the balance and beauty of Tipharet, requiring the seeker to integrate accountability and moral clarity. Because, that's kind of what justice is. Clarity, beauty, and everything else. Then you've got the Hangman, which is Geburah to Hod. So Geburah, again, severity and glory. You've got the severity and you've got glory. The hangman represents surrender, sacrifice, and a shift in perspective.
Okay, so path 23, the hanged man, Geburah and Tahad. I'm going to try with these pronunciations. Mia has done them way more than I have. The hangman represents surrender, sacrifice, and a shift in perception because, of course, the hangman is at the mercy of and the sacrifice of just hanging there. That's it. That's what he gets. Path bridges Geburah's structured severity with the Had's intellectual clarity, symbolizing the spiritual growth that comes from letting go of rigid control and embracing a new understanding, where the hangman is just hanging there. So path 24 is death.
The path for death is Tipharet, which is beauty, and Netzach, which is victory.
So beauty to victory, death represents and symbolizes transformation, endings, and new beginnings. This path links the harmonious integration of Sephiroth with Netzach's creative and emotional forces, representing the necessary shedding of old patterns to allow rebirth and creative renewal.
Which honestly makes sense, because the beauty of victory is knowing that something new is coming and you have shed and abandoned all of the old things that no longer serve you.
And how do you get victory? But through defeat. Somebody has to be defeated, even if it's your old self.
Exactly. We've got temperance here, path 25, which is Tipharet, beauty to Yesod, foundation.
So temperance represents balance, moderation, and the blending of opposites. This path connects the central harmony of Sephiroth, or beauty?
Yes.
Beauty with the foundational subconscious of Yesod, requiring the integration of higher ideas into the more fluid, mutable realm of the psyche.
Exactly. So once you understand where beauty lies is when you can start finding the balance between things. So now we've got path 26, which is Tipharet, beauty, Tahad, and glory, and the devil.
The devil represents materialism, temptation, and the chains of illusion. This path challenges the seeker to confront the intellectual and the psychological traps of Had, which is glory and splendor and all of that stuff, and transcend the lower desires to maintain Sephiroth's inner harmony, which is beauty. You have to be in balance and...
Exactly. Too much of one thing, indulging in too much of one thing is not a good thing at all. Now we've got path 27, which is the tower, which is Netzach to Had. Netzach, again, being victory, and Had being glory.
The tower signifies sudden upheaval, destruction, and revelation. This path bridges the emotional creative forces of Netzach, and which is victory, right? With Had's glory, intellectual structure, representing the breakdown of false constructs, which would be fake glory, to achieve a higher understanding and emotional truth. Again, the tower explains itself. It is the destruction of one thing.
And then we have path 28, which is the star, which is Netzach, aka victory, to Yesod, foundation.
The star signifies hope, inspiration, and divine guidance. This path connects victory, creative, and emotional energy with foundations, subconscious foundation, in illuminating the soul's journey and the renewal of faith through intuition and inner clarity.
Which kind of explains itself, because the star is one of those cards where it's like, okay, I gotta start
and it's illuminating
things.
The nighttime.
Exactly. And then we've got the moon, which is victory to kingdom, Malkuth.
The moon represents dreams, illusions, and the hidden aspects of the psyche. This path connects Netzach's how's it pronounced?
Netzach.
Netzach's emotional creativity to the world of Malkuth.
Yes.
Exploring the challenges of navigating subconscious fears and desires to manifest the emotional expression in reality.
And what is this card? This card is fear. Technically, this card would be the fear of the unknown, illusions, and everything of the like.
Which is also fear of hidden aspects of your psyche. This is all about intuition and stuff. What does the moon represent in magic? Typically, your intuition. And your dreams can tell you your future and all kind of things if you pay attention to them.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got the sun, path 30, which is Had, glory, to Yesod, foundation.
The sun represents clarity, vitality, and joy. This path connects Hod's intellectual framework with Yesod's intuitive foundation, symbolizing the integration of conscious understanding with subconscious truths to bring enlightenment and happiness. And what does the sun represent but happiness?
Yep, the truth coming to light and happiness. And I love the sun. Okay, so path 31 is judgment, which is glory, Hod, to kingdom, Malkuth.
Judgment symbolizes awakening, redemption, the call to higher purpose. This path connects Hod's intellectual and analytical qualities to the path of manifestation of Malkuth, encouraging the seeker to align their actions with higher truths and spiritual awakening.
Yes, so all of the intellect, all of the glory, all of what you've gained from the knowledge that you have in this tree of life is now being put forth in the material world, and now you are the judge of how your life will go. And the final card, the 22nd path technically, which is path 32, is Yesod, which is the foundation, and Malkuth, which is the kingdom and the material plane.
They're connecting. The world represents completion, integration, and fulfillment of the spiritual journey. This path connects Yesod's fluid subconscious realm with the physical manifestation of Malkuth, symbolizing the realization of divine potential within the material world.
And that is exactly how nothing comes from something. That is exactly how the Fool goes through that whole entire journey and is now in the physical realm and making sense of it all.
And it's basically, again, tells the Fool's journey just in a different style.
Exactly. So we had to kind of rush through this because there was a lot to talk about, and I understand now why there are not many videos about Hermetic Qabalah and Tarot, because it takes a very long time, but also it takes a lot of research and a lot of knowledge to actually start understanding why what is what and so on and so forth.
It's a lot, and we could do probably several more videos on this, and we will if you want us to, for sure. If anybody finds this video back in the day, just ask us.
Right, because we can break down quartz, we can break down the Sephiroth nodes, we can break down the paths. There's so much that you can work with. And shout out to Joe Monteleone, again, the person that we watched to help us get majority of the information about tarot and Hermetic Qabalah in this video, because without his class and without that video, we would probably still be struggling to find scraps.
Honestly, and at first we were such snobs and almost didn't watch it.
We were like, oh, an hour? This is way too long. I don't want to watch this. And then we buckled down and we watched it. So this is a sign for you to buckle down and learn more about what you found from our videos or other videos that you've seen online.
Absolutely. We will, of course, you saw us we have the Tree of Life right here. We will have I have a link to another website that I also recommend highly. And I actually have 2 links that I will give you guys for further breakdowns that I really like. So you guys can do a little bit of your own research and start doing yeah.
Thank you for coming to our Tarot Qabalah, Hermetic Qabalah, Qabalah episode. We hope that you learned something. If you feel we went a little too fast with anything, just let us know and we will be happy, more than willing, to break it down even further so you can understand it better.
There is so much more to learn. There is so much
learning.
More to talk about. We're just touching the tips of it, man. We're not even close.
There's so much more about Hermetic Qabalah that we learn and have to learn. But as far as tarot is concerned, we've basically got it a little down pat. Can we do more research? Absolutely. But for what we know right now, is pretty good.
Yeah, we've done the solid bit of research here that should get you started. And if you're interested in more, we'll be happy to do more and break down it more, especially because you can have a better understanding of all the Sephiroths and why the paths connect the way that they do, because that could even be a bigger breakdown. There's just so much more.
We would have gone into it, but then this episode would be like 3 hours long, and I know that I'm not sitting through a 3 hour long episode because I could just go watch a movie at that point. Sorry.
Absolutely. I would not want to submit you guys to an hour, like 3 hour long episode. That's a 2-parter. My bad. So sorry.
Right.
I can yap, but that's too much.
Okay. So,
but I do want to say thank you for Mia to host this episode, because she did a tremendous job at doing all the research.
Yay. Thank you. And I really hope that it was a lot helpful, because I know it sure was to me. And now when I do tarot readings, I'm going to be like, okay.
I did in fact take notes on the reading. Movement of the mind into wisdom will help us navigate our inner child for a better path and a better podcast.
Period.
So that is what I got about this reading that I have out here, which was Knight of Swords, 2 of Swords, Queen of Wands in reverse, and 2 of Cups. So.
Okay. We will elaborate on more on that later. But what are we going to be doing soon? What is the plan?
Okay, so next week we are recording Witchcraft Tools 101 for apprentice witches. I don't have a funny name for it yet. You'll see it later when I figure it out. But that is what we'll be doing. We'll be talking about different tools that you can have as a witch, and none of which that you need, but great recommendations. Just eyeballs, because I know everybody wants a little funny. Who's going to deny themselves that they want crystals and they want candles? And
exactly.
Let's be real with ourselves. Of course we want them, but I'm not going to say that you need them. You don't need them, but I'm going to give you my recommendations on what you should be getting. As you can see, I'm a big fan of the glass pillar candles from the dollar store.
I have a pillar candle, but it's not in a glass. It's on a glass, but not in a glass.
So we're not talking about spending too much money. $1.25, here you go.
We're eco-friendly here, okay? We will not make you spend copious amounts of money to start your journey on spirituality or witchcraft, because we didn't have all these things when we started our spiritual journey and our witchcraft journey.
Absolutely not. I had one deck of cards that my husband gifted me.
It is a gradual build-up, and once the further you get, the more you're like, ooh, I don't need it, but ooh, sometimes you just want to have the aesthetics. And then sometimes the aesthetics can also be very useful to whatever journey that you're on.
And sometimes the aesthetics motivate you to keep doing it.
Exactly. I know it's sure.
When it looks pretty, you wanna be there. You wanna be involved with it. I love doing things that look pretty. Like, who's gonna deny that? So that's what we'll be talking about next week. That'll be Witchcraft 101. And then after that week, we'll be filming a little shoot the shit episode and talking about what we're doing on the side. Because we have been recording and we have been doing shit.
Yeah, we
are happy to talk about it.
Witches and Weebs updates. We're going to have so much more for y'all to work with. I'm excited.
Yes. I'm actually really excited. We are recording and researching and recording and researching and recording. We've just got good stuff going on. I'm excited to see.
I love Witches
So
and
that's
Weebs.
our plans for the next week. And that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah. Okay. So as usual, please make sure you like, subscribe, and please turn on the notification bell so you know when we are uploading new videos and you can get that ping so you can be first in line.
Oh, it's over there. It's actually like way over there, I think, for this video. Boop, 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 boop.
Like I like to say now, who doesn't want to be first in line to watch an episode of Witches and Weebs? Because I most certainly do.
Also, so do I. I am actually first in line. Promise. As soon as it uploads to oh my goodness. As soon as it uploads to YouTube, it's in my Discord and I click the link. I'm first in line. Nobody can beat me. I hope one of you beat me one day.
I'm gonna beat you one day. Watch this. Watch this.
All right. I'm watching.
Remember, everybody, please practice wisely and stay safe. May all of your positive affirmations and your manifestations come to fruition. And we gonna see y'all next week. Bye.
Bye. Stay mystical. Woo.